So the nation collectively held its breath as the jury deliberated in the Derek Chauvin trial. The murder conviction brought relief to many, but this case is not over. Joining me now is Attorney Thomas Glasgow. Thank you for getting up nice and early with us this morning. I got a lot I want to cover. What we heard so far is a sentencing is 8 weeks away. But what happens right now before those 8 weeks?
Right now, what's going to happen is the judge has assigned probation to end up interviewing the defendant, then to prepare a report for the court that essentially is a probation worksheet. Essentially, it goes through and determines the sentencing level, the criminal history score, the severity level of the offense, the proposed sentencing range, and the presumptive sentence for this particular defendant, giving a suggested term of years or months to the judge to give them guidance as to whether or not they're going to impose one sentence or another. If any of your viewers are familiar with the federal sentencing guidelines, it works much the same way. There is a grid system that goes up and across. The up and down is the severity of the offense. The across is the criminal history score of the defendant.
There's been a lot of speculation about what this sentence might be. We know here locally, if you want to bring it home, that with Jason Van Dyke, he got just under 7 years for murdering Laquan McDonald. What do you think is going to happen here with the sentence?
That's not going to happen here because the presumptive sentence for second-degree second-degree murder in Minnesota is 306 months. And the low end is going to be 261 months, which is equivalent to about 20 years in the penitentiary. Even with good time, he's looking at 15 to 20 years in the penitentiary on something like this. That's on the low end. Now, there are departures upwards and downwards. You can end up going below the range for certain reasons. You can go above the range for certain reasons under the Minnesota guidelines. It will be interesting to see what is presented by defense counsel to attempt to humanize in mitigation the defendant. It also is going to be incumbent upon the prosecution to present aggravation to show why the maximum sentence should be imposed as a deterrent to other people ever committing a crime of a similar nature. Because there is a deterrent value to sentencing, and there is a deterrent value to other people for sentencing.
What about an appeal here?
An appeal is way down the road. I mean, we're still looking at sentencing. You're not going to get into an appellate situation or an appeal on this until you get past the sentencing and all of the motions that can be filed with the trial court. So they have to go through the process of presenting aggravation and mitigation. They have to go through the sentencing hearing 8 weeks from now, and then they have to determine the sentence. The sentence has to be imposed. After that, there will be post-trial motions for new trial or a review of sentence or anything else that they want to end up bringing up. And I would presume that they bring up the mistrial issues that they ended up moving forward during the course of the jury. As to say that his rights were violated.
Can I ask you a little bit about that? Because the judge in the Chauvin case actually admonished Congresswoman Maxine Waters because of her statements. They may have given Chauvin something to appeal on, but said that that could result in the trial being overturned. Do statements from public officials really impact these cases?
They can. If someone is taking steps to end up either poisoning the jury pool or tainting them in some way in order to give them a reason to give a disposition or a verdict that's different than what the law and justice commands, then that can be a basis for overturning the jury verdict. Now, will that happen? I don't know. And that's something that, juries are involved. We presume that they're doing everything right. We presume that their actions are taken under all lawful means. So we don't end up imposing that presumption upon them that they did something that swayed them one way or another with absent some sort of proof. So I would presume one of the jurors or several of the jurors would have to come forward and say Maxine Waters' statements incited us to go one way instead of another.
All right. I could talk to you for hours. I'm so grateful that you got up early with us this morning, Attorney Thomas Glasgow. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Good to talk to you.